You win. Perfect.
Yes, welcome back. And yeah, as you saw in the intro, first video back on my Hot Wheels channel, and we'll be covering Matchbox Super Chases today. So yeah, no Hot Wheels yet, just yet. There's a reason I wanted to do the Super Chases. I had unpacked all of the ones that I did have last week, or some of you may have seen in the last bit of the previous video, already had them unpacked. But I'm very glad that I waited. Because as you saw in the intro, I added another one to my collection today, which is I think it's the latest one. Excuse the interruption. This is Vian from 3 Days in the Future. What I didn't know at this stage is that the next day I went back to pick up that Moon Eyes dairy delivery, and I walked up to the pegs like this. So yeah, they replaced the only card that I took with another Super Chase. So yeah, no complaints from here on in about restocking. Okay, and that's sort of the point that I want to cover today is when it comes to Matchbox Super Chases, nobody seems to be quite sure what the sequence is, when they're getting released, which ones go into which cases. They're roughly at this stage looks to be like every 2 cases there should every second wave there should be a super chase in one of the cases, but I don't know, that doesn't seem to track perfectly either. So I'll turn the camera down in just a bit, or tilt it down, and we can have a closer look at these cars. But yeah, the Mercedes-Benz Cabriolet was the latest one. If they have them in reverse order from latest to oldest, I think this one, the Pontiac Grand Prix, was the previous one, and then this is actually the order that I got them in as well. Was the Corvette? Sorry, not the Corvette, the Mustang convertible. And then we had the 2 German cars which came out back to back. I think the new one of the 2, as I had it, was the Mercedes-Benz first, and then the Porsche before that. So the Porsche was the one that I found end of last year. It was on one of my very last videos. I just had a quick clip of me finding it in the wild and putting it on the Christmas tree. So that's the only one that so far that I've found in the wild, and it was the first one that I found as well. Other than that, I just want to quickly touch on this one as well, this model, which is from the Matchbox Collector's set. And I'll have a quick look when I tilt the camera down, why I at one stage also thought that it might have been a super chase without being marked as a super chase. But yeah, we'll have a quick look at that now. So yeah, stick around, we'll have a look at these. Right, let's take a closer look at these cars. Okay, let's start at the beginning, which is the Porsche. It's the like I said, the first one that I found in the wild, which would have been end of last year. It's the 911 GT3. Was very popular at the time that I found it, and we did actually find quite a few in South Africa. I saw a lot of fellow collectors finding them in the wild. So yeah, that one I found in the wild myself. This one I got from a fellow local collector. I think he was running an auction. That's how I got it. These were also found on the pegs here, but they were fewer and far between than what the Porsches were. The next one up was this one. This one I only saw on local listings, local Facebook groups, Instagram accounts, that specifically the local ones. I only saw about 4 in total found. So I think they were found locally, but very in very limited quantities. I'm assuming only at certain retailers that didn't have a lot of branches, but none of our like mainstream retailers. And then this one, I actually have another one on the way, the Pontiac Grand Prix. So we'll be having another one soon. This one, the blister isn't great. Yeah, it's got a bit of a vein at the back as well. But this one I traded with a local collector friend of mine, and the other one I also bought from a local reseller. So didn't find those in the wild. What I like about the moving parts super chases is usually with just the basic or the regular moving parts cars, they will have plastic wheels. Obviously, because this is a super chase, it now has both opening parts, so opening doors, opening hood, depending on what the casting is, and rubber tires. I don't remember what Matchbox calls these. It's not real riders. I think they call them real feel rubber tires, if I'm not mistaken. Something to that effect. I don't know. Some stupid name. It's not the most original name for these. And then the Cabriolet, the Mercedes that I found just this morning on the pegs. This I've seen a few found already. Like in the last week, I've probably seen 5, including this one, found in the wild. So they are just hitting our shelves now. I found this one at our local Toys R Us, and I know that, you guys will know that in previous videos I always rant about how bad our Toys R Us's are at restocking. So yeah, I had to eat my words this morning because I walked in on a full pegs of Matchbox and Matchbox moving parts, and they had some pop culture for a change as well. Some of the newer sets. Why I had this one out as well is because when I got this, I got this out of a blind bag. So I ordered a Matchbox Collectors from an online retailer here in South Africa, and they don't list individual models. So you get a blind package. But what caught my attention with this one is the little Matchbox logo, and also the fact that the design on the convertible Mustang is similar, and because the first super chases, the ones that we also found locally but also in very limited quantities, that first year was 2021. There was the Corvette and the Bronco, and which is this model, but only the 5-door one, not the 3-door one. The deco was in white. That, while the Bronco did have little SC logo, you can see it clearly on the Mercedes. On the bottom of the door sill, you can make out the SC, which is supposed to be sort of the Matchbox equivalent of the TH that you find on the Super Treasure Hunts on the Hot Wheels. Not all of them have it's not visible on all of the cars. Now, whether or not it's might be on the, so for instance, if you take this one, this and this basically has exactly the same deco. So also the little M logo just on the back of the front fender, but no visible SC on the car unless it's on the other side. And I'm not opening this up to find out, but I've not seen one with an SC logo. So that's why I thought this might actually be sort of a super chase that slipped between the cracks. As far as I know, there aren't Matchbox Collectors super chases. So if this was to turn out to be a super chase without having that designation on the box, that I think would be the only one. And what was also weird is the fact that I'm also now only seeing the US collectors finding these, but I've also seen US collectors now only finding these. But this I've had for a good probably 7 months. So the way they're being distributed and the way the waves are being distributed, both in the US and internationally, it seems to be a bit of a mix. And there's, I mean, judging by the little indications on the cards themselves to designate the super chases, there's also not a clear-cut conformity as to how they display on the cards and how they display on the cards themselves. So that I found that quite odd that you'd see the US collectors, which usually get these first. In some cases they're way ahead of us, and in other cases they're lagging quite a bit behind. So yeah, I thought that was quite strange and something to note, because everybody's, it's not like the super treasure hunts where you can sort of keep track of which cases follow on which cases. I mean, even if with us we skip cases, at least they follow chronologically. You might skip a couple of letters here and there, but they all come out in the sequence that they're supposed to come out. Where with the Matchbox waves, that doesn't seem to be the case. The cases arrive a little bit at random. So yeah, I thought I'd just highlight the ones that I do have. The ones that I'm still missing, obviously those first two that I mentioned. I'll run some slides now if I can find some decent quality pictures. Which was, that first one was the Corvette. The second one was the larger Bronco. The third one, as far as I know, was that 1932 Ford, the Hot Rod, which I think is the sister car to this one, because it was also in orange. I think orange with black flames, if I'm not mistaken. And then we had the two German cars, the Ford Mustang. After the Ford Mustang came the Pontiac, I think, which is obviously out of sequence, but that's the way in which we got them. So this one was available locally before this one was, and then there's the Porsche, the grey SUV, the Macan, which I haven't seen locally at all. I don't think we're getting that wave. So I think if we here in South Africa want them, we'll have to import them. I think these are the only ones that were ever available for us, whether it was in limited quantities or not. So yeah, there you go. That's basically the rundown of the Matchbox Super Chases. I'm actually quite lucky that I found as many as I have, because finding super treasure hunts and also even just those car culture chases, we've had very little luck here in finding that sort of chase. So the Matchbox ones, because we get a decent stock of Matchboxes, which obviously increases our chances of finding them out in the wild quite a bit. Happy to have found these. Looking forward to maybe grabbing one or two more of these if I can. If our retailers keep setting out the stock, I might get lucky with one or two more. Otherwise, if I find more, I will be sure to update that. Keep following my Instagram account for that. And that's your Matchbox super chases, both in the basic line and in the moving parts line, and I don't know, perhaps in the Matchbox Collectors series as well. I'll see if there's somebody out there that shares in my crazy conspiracy theory. Alright, thanks for joining me. I'll see you all again next week. We'll unbox that package that's been sitting on my desk for a couple of weeks. There's a reason why I am postponing that to the next video, and you'll just have to stick around for that to find out why. And yeah, that's it. See you around next time. Keep well. Cheers.